Hey guys, Patrick Wind here and welcome to this training model in which I'm going to show you how to properly set up your campaigns in your ad account. So, of course, what we want to do is we want to set up a full funnel strategy which includes a campaign, at least one campaign for prospecting and a campaign for retargeting, okay? But as we very well know in retargeting, we also want to integrate and include DPA, so dynamic product ads, but this one has of course a different campaign objective, namely catalog sales, and therefore we need a separate campaign for DPA and at least one campaign for retargeting with the objective conversion, okay? And then of course one prospecting campaign also with the campaign objective conversion. And now within each of those campaigns, of course, we have several ad sets. And as we see in our prospecting campaign, we're optimizing on different events. As we know from our funnel strategy that in the prospecting stage, especially the learning phase matters, and therefore we optimize, for example, on view content and add to cart, but we also optimize on purchase in this specific campaign because we have a very low cost per website purchase. So even on average just 15 euros. And so it's realistic that with our budget of 55 euros or 73 euros per day, we can really get those 50 conversion events per week. And therefore we can even optimize on those lower funnel events. However, if your cost per website purchase on average is much higher than 15, I would not recommend to optimize on purchase, but rather on upper funnel events like add to cart or view content, okay? Then, what do we have in these specific ad sets? Well, we're testing different audiences, right? So, for example, this testing audience, and we're also testing different placements. For example, all placements, all stories. And then within each ad set, we have not only one ad, or we do not have 10 ads, we have between 2 to 4 ads. So in this case, we have 3 ads, 3 different Instagram stories ads, okay? You see all of them move a little bit. And to make it more engaging, okay, to animate people to actually swipe up. And let's see what we have in the placement in the ad set for all placement. Okay, we see, for example, carousels and collection ads, which are of course very recommendable because they get very high click-through rates. And here a nice collection ad with the products below. That is very good. And the important takeaway is that we do not have one ad but within one ad set, but several ones. And this was our prospecting campaign. Let's take a look at our retargeting campaign. In our retargeting campaign, we see here a nice funnel between hot, warm, and cold. Okay, and these different ad sets once again have several ads in there, of course. And what we see here, what has been already done is based on the past performance, one of those ads has been already deactivated, which is very good. And we only maintain the best 2 ones, which have performed with the best KPIs so far. What we also see is the kind of audience that has been chosen. I mean, simply in here, we see the engagers and we exclude the purchasers. That is very good. And then what I would also like to show you is the DPA campaign. And here in the DPA campaign, I would actually change 2 little things. So let me show them to you and then think about it. What could be those 2 things that I would do differently? Okay, so let's take a look at these 3 ad sets that we have here. Okay, this is the one with the longest period, 14 days. Okay, then we have 2 other ones with 7 days and 3 days, which is of course very hot. People that viewed a specific product or added to the shopping cart within 3 to 7 days, very hot. And the longest period you have is 14 days. And in each of those ad sets, we only have 1 ad. Okay, so I mean, it looks nice because it's DPA and therefore it also performs nice because it's super relevant. But what do you think, guys? What are the 2 things that I would do differently? Seeing this product sales campaign, so DPA campaign, what do you think? What are the 2 things that I would do differently? Well, first one, very easy one, very simple. I would duplicate this ad. Even though it's a DPA ad set, I would duplicate it and try to come up with 2 different variations of that. So not just relying on this specific copy, because it could very well be that this copy with those emoticons does not work. Okay, maybe it would be much better with a shorter copy or a longer copy, okay, or with different emoticons. So relying on this specific copy is very risky. Then we should also press this button to show a slideshow when available. Okay. Here it would take all the different images, multiple images that you have in your product feed, and we'll create a slideshow from that. Then we could try to play around with overlays. Okay. For example, add a price overlay. Okay. And here you can also change how it actually appears. So this one, for example, you could change the different headlines. You could make it a collection ad. Okay, so several things that you could play around in order to give the algorithm more variations, but just having one ad within this ad set is probably not enough. Okay, so that would be one change. And the other change that I would actually undertake here is that I would duplicate this ad set and would give it a longer time period, because here the longest time period that we have is 14 days. Okay, but what about all the people that, for example, in the last 60 days have viewed a specific product or added to the shopping cart that have not purchased? Okay, right now we're not tackling them, we're not attacking them with our DPA, and in order to do not have overlaps with the ad set that we already have with the 14 days, I would probably do something like that. So I would come up with a custom combination, okay, where I would include people who viewed a specific product or added to the shopping cart in the last 60 days, who did not purchase in the last 60 days, but who did not view a specific product in the last 14 days, because this one I already tackled with the existing ad set. Okay, so in the duplicate, I would create this one for 60 minus 14 days. Okay, and with this option, I would include also longer time periods, and therefore have higher possibilities to find people who are likely to convert, because they have already expressed their interest more than 2 weeks ago and less than 2 months ago. So this is actually a wonderful setup on how you can create a funnel in real life between prospecting and retargeting, also including DPAs. I also gave you 2 practical hints on how you can actually improve your DPA setting. And once more, I would like to remind you that it's a very good idea to have not only 1 ad within an ad set, but rather 2 to 4. Okay, and my recommendation is actually to start with 3, and depending on your budget, of course, and then you can go ahead into each single ad set, and you can deactivate always the worst performing ones. For example, in this specific case, if we just take a look at those 3 ads, we clearly see that 2 of them brought sales, 1 of them even with a nice ROAS of 4. This one has only spent, it has actually spent more than the first one. And if we just go through it, we'll see that it didn't even bring an initiate checkout, didn't even bring add to carts, and then the cost per website content view is also double of what we have in the other option. Okay, and therefore in this specific case, it's an easy decision to deactivate this specific ad and let active only the other ones, and therefore it will be very likely that from now on this specific ad set will not only bring a ROAS of 2.5 but even higher ones. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this one as much as I did, and thank you very much for listening. See you in the next video. Goodbye.